All right, everybody. Oops, I don't have my microphone. You probably can't even hear me. Okay. Hello, I am Margie Remmers-Davis, creator of the Fast and Easy Way to QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor Certification, and welcome to our weekly live stream. Happy Friday. This live stream happens every week in our free Facebook group, which is all about getting hands-on practice in QuickBooks Online. So I see we've got some people starting to join. Hey, Mike, thanks, Joel, for posting the link for us. Remember that if you want to interact with me and ask questions, you do need to give Ecamm permission. Ecamm is our streaming service that we use, but Facebook, it has to give permission to Ecamm in order for me to see your name. So all of that good stuff. So anyway, we have got some juicy stuff to work on today. Let me just hop over. Good morning, everyone who's hopping on. Happy Friday to you. All right, so I mentioned that we are, let me just hop over into my, okay. So I mentioned that we are streaming live in our Facebook group, which is the QBO Gym Locker Room. Inside the locker room, you have access to nearly 100 absolutely free hands-on exercises in using QuickBooks Online. QBO Gym Locker Room, this is what it looks like. Of course, it's a little bit, I'm the admin, so it's going to look a little different for you. But if you scroll down and in the featured section right here, oh, I don't have my cursor on. There we go. Okay, so in the featured section right here, this is our welcome post, and inside the welcome post there is a spreadsheet. This is where you're going to find all of the free exercises, and the spreadsheet looks like this, okay? So you'll notice that we have different tabs down below, getting started. If you're brand new and you don't know anything about QuickBooks Online, this is what's going to get you oriented. Basic are the ones that come from our basic level certification test. Same for advanced, the advanced level certification test, the QBO Gym, which I'll talk about in a minute, and then Pro Advisor challenges. These are the ones that come from Intuit that are inside your free QBOA account. Of course, if you don't know how to get your free QBOA account, if you don't know how to access the sample company, which is what we're going to be walking through today, and you're watching the recording, links all about that will be below. Okay, then we have this tab that I'm on, says Retired, Miscellaneous, and Special Requests. If I scroll up, you'll see all of these that say Margie Create, Margie Create. These are the ones that you guys have asked me to create. So I'm working on it. But today, the reason I'm on this page is because what we're going to be talking about today is all about late customers. Like, what do we do when a customer is late? And we're going to start by talking about terms. Let me make sure you guys can see this. Okay, so here is an exercise. This is the one we're going to start with on creating terms. And the reason it's here in the retired section. Oh, my head's in the way, so you can't see that it's in the retired section. Whoop, there, see? There we go. See, it's in the retired section. Can you see my cursor? There we go. All right, so let me move my head back. I always get a kick out of the fact that I have to move my head. Okay, so the reason it's in the retired section is because it used to be on the basic level Pro Advisor test. It's no longer on the test, but it's still good information for you to know. So we're going to start there today. And it looks like this. Okay. Oh, and I'm not even on the right page. Okay. It looks like, dun-dun-dun, looks like this. Why aren't you guys seeing it? Okay, there we go. It looks like this. All right, so creating terms. What are terms? Well, let's talk about what that means. So if I create an invoice, so here I am in my sample company, and I create an invoice. The whole thing about an invoice is that it gives your customer time to pay. It's usually 30 days to pay, something like that. When you get a bill, you don't have to pay it usually. You don't have to pay it that moment, okay? So the terms are for so Craig, who's our fictitious business owner, he gives his clients, say, 30 days to pay. And then the same is true for vendors. So vendors give us an amount of time to pay, okay? And so those are called terms. Right there, you have different terms that you can select. So 30 days is the default, but that you have that choice. Now you can see here that it says add new. You can add new terms right here on an invoice, but we are going to talk about how to do it another way, which is through the gear icon. Now, here is a fun fact. If you are on an invoice or in any transaction and you click the gear icon, it will show you, eventually as it comes up, only the settings specific to the transaction that you're on. So we're going to go into account and settings, and in order to do that, we have to close out of the invoice. Because if you're in a transaction and you click the gear icon, you get a completely different thing here. Okay, so I'm going to close that, and then I'm going to close that, and then I'm going to go to our actual exercise. So here's the scenario. Craig has decided to allow some of his customers to pay his invoices within 45 days. So when we were looking at that list before, 45 wasn't an option. How would you add this to the list of available terms when creating invoices? Okay, so step 1, we're going to click the gear icon and select all lists. And this is what was on the test last year, was knowing that you had to know what this all lists thing was. Okay, so all lists. And this is going to, everything that you do in QuickBooks Online is a list. And, it's everything is a list. And so they have number of lists that you can access from this all lists. You notice you can get your chart of accounts. This is another way to access your products and services, your product categories. If you had classes or locations turned on, you would have them here. And then here are the terms. So I'm getting ahead of myself, as I always do. Step 2, from the list screen, click terms. Okay, that's what we're doing. So click terms. And then while that's loading, step 3, from the terms screen, click the green new button. Okay, so here are the terms that are currently available, and we just click the green new button. Okay, and then right here, I can specify whether I want it to be due in a fixed number of days, due by a certain day of the month. So I could say, hey, I always want them to be, on the 15th or something like that. Due the next month if issued within a certain number of days of the due date. Okay, so if I say, oh, I want you to pay always by the 15th, but I don't send you the invoice until the 14th, then you can say, well, if it's within a day, then go ahead and give them another month, right? So that's what this is. Okay. All right. So creating terms. Step 4. Name the new terms net 45. Select due in fixed number of days and enter 45. Okay. So we're going to call this net 45. We're going to say due in fixed number of days and select 45, and then click Save. So now this is in our list, and this same list is used for both customers and vendors. Okay, it's just one list, and it will now also appear. Now this is not in the exercise, but if the sample company is going to let me, if this is going to cooperate, let me just show you how you can, for specific customers, you can specify that you want that customer, whenever you create an invoice for them, to have a specific set of terms. Okay, so here in my customer list, if I go to Amy's Bird Sanctuary, and then I click, where is my edit button? There it is. That was weird how it didn't pop up for a sec. All right, and then somewhere in this list is where you can choose her default terms. Here it is right here in the payment section. I can say, here's all of the terms from that list. Notice I don't have the ability to add one here. I can add one on the invoice, and so I could say, oh, Amy's one of the customers that I want to give net 45, and then that way every time we create an invoice for her, she'll get the 45, and then everybody else will just get whatever the default is. Okay, so that is that. So now that's creating terms. And the reason this whole thing, of course I say down at the bottom, an alternative way is to simply click the plus add new on any invoice or bill. Okay, so we've covered that. All right, let me stop screen sharing for a sec. Now, the reason why this has been on my mind and I wanted to teach you this is because we have been working on the May issue of the QBO Gym. And in the May issue of the QBO Gym, we're applying late fees. Now, what are late fees? Late fees are, an amount of money above and beyond that you have to pay if you don't pay the invoice within those terms, right? So if we say that your terms are 30 days, then on day 31, if you haven't paid yet, then you are going to have to, pay whatever the late fee is. Now I've never seen anything about late fees on any version of the test, which is weird because this is a super valuable thing. This is a super valuable thing to add. I missed a question from Stacy. Let's see. Sorry, let me see. What does it say? If you add new in terms while entering an invoice, will that just be available for that specific vendor that you are entering? Let me just add you there. Let me read it again. If you do add new in terms while entering an invoice, will that just be available for that specific vendor you are entering? Okay, so the quick answer is no. Once you add it, just like when you hit add new for anything, whether you add new customer, add new vendor, add new account in the chart of accounts, add new product services, like all of this stuff that you can do on the fly, that will add it to the list. And so it'll always be there for, forever. So that's the short answer to the question. The longer answer to the question is I'm going to call you out on confusing invoices and vendors. So when you're entering an invoice, that is for a customer. If you're entering something for a vendor, that is a bill. So it's super important, and I hate to call you out on the spot, but super important that everyone has that straight in that terminology straight in their mind. Okay, but the quick answer is when you add it, it's added to that general list. Okay, all right, so so I have late fees on the brain because we're working on the May issue. And so for those of you who are here live today, then you are going to get this exercise and Joel already posted it in the link. So, so you get this exercise because you're here live. Nobody else has it. Well, some special people have it, but the public, let me just say, the public does not have this exercise yet. So let me go back to sharing my desktop and let me pull up the right thing. Okay, so as I mentioned, this is from the QBO Gym. Really quick, what is the QBO Gym? It is a practice set of exercises that simulates life as a bookkeeper. So every month you get a new set of exercises that are they're grouped together. We've got this whole gym theme going on. And so we have warm-ups, cardio, strength training, and cool down that are kind of these exercises that are grouped together. And I don't have May available yet because it's not to the public. So we're going to use this super secret link, which is right here. So the cardio is always about stuff that you have to do for Craig. And there's all of the sections have a little video, and then you have a little quiz that you have to answer about what you saw in the video. And then below that are the different exercises. Okay, so the one that we are going to do, so one of the things he asks you to do is he asks you to set up some late fees for one of his customers, Freeman Sporting Goods. So let's click on that and read through it together. Okay. Bearing in mind that this is not open to the public yet, so there may still be changes before it goes live. If you are not a member of the gym, what are you waiting for? No, but seriously, if you're not a member of the gym, but you want access to this exercise or any of the exercises that we are talking about today, you can sign up for a free trial. And because I hate, it's a subscription product and I hate signing up for things that I don't know exactly what's in it. So that's why we give you a free trial so you can log in, check it out, do all of the exercises, see if you like it, see if it's fun, see if it's helpful. All right, so here is our scenario. Craig asks you to send an invoice to Freeman Sporting Goods for 1 rock fountain and 3 hours of installation at $70 per hour. They always pay late, and so he's set their terms to net 10 with an additional fee every day they are late. Okay, let's see how you would set this up. Okay, so first we're going to set up the late fees. Now, late fees are handled in both system-wide and individual customer levels. First, you need to turn on the feature in account settings. It's important to note that once it is turned on, QBO will assign the late fee schedule you set up to all customers. Okay, get that? And that's super important. It will apply to all customers as soon as you turn it on. But you can disable it for any customer. Okay, so while you can disable it for any customer to which it doesn't apply, you have to do this individually. You cannot disable several customers at once. So make double darn sure if you're going to use late fees, make sure that you remember to turn it off for anyone that you don't want. And if your client has, 1,000 customers, you may want to really make sure that you want to do this. Okay. So once it is on, you can set an individual late fee schedule per customer that is different than the one set up in accountant settings. Finally, note that the late fee will not apply to invoices that are already outstanding or that are in a closed period. Okay, so your customer has a bill that's 30 days late and you say, hey, I want to apply a late fee. Okay, you can apply the late fee just by adding it as a product on the invoice, but QBO is not going to do that automatically for you. Okay, there is an article linked here that's from Intuit that's all about late fees and like how it all works, and it like kicks off at midnight the night that it's due, and all that kind of level of detail that we don't need to know right now. Okay, so step 1, we're going to click the gear icon and select all. What happened to my sample company? Okay. So here I am in my sample company. I'm going to close this. I'm going to leave without saving because yes, I was just demonstrating. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the gear icon and I'm going to select account and settings. Okay, going back to our exercise, steps 2 through 5. Click the sales tab, then click the late fees section to make it editable. I always talk about this because, hey, didn't I open count and settings? Okay, there we go. I always talk about this because I know that when I first started, it was crazy confusing to me. It's crazy confusing to me. So every video I talk about kind of how this works. So what section do we want? The sales section. Okay. So I'm going to go to the sales tab, which is here on the left. And then see how as I move my cursor, each of these kind of subsections are highlighted. And what I have to do is I have to open it up for editing. Okay, I have to make it, and I can do that with the pencil, but really just clicking anywhere in this section. And here is late fees. Of course, my head is covering it up. So there we go. Okay, so here is late fees. So we're going to click that. Default charge applied to overdue invoices. Okay, and then it says after you turn on late fees, you can customize settings for individual customers from your dashboard under customers. And of course, we're going to go over that because it's super important. Now, after you turn on, okay, so that's what we just read. Now, there are two types of late fees, but we have this annoying pop-up that obscures. Thank you, Intuit. Thank you, QBO. This thing obscures so we can't even see it. Okay, so now here we go. If I just kind of move my cursor around, you'll see that there is a flat fee. Okay, so it's like, boom, $20 late fee, that's it. Or a percentage of the remaining balance. So there's a 5% fee for, every day that you're late, something like that. Here is a quick tip. I don't have this in the exercise. You guys are only getting it because you're on here, is that you cannot have a percentage be less than 1. So I had a client who had a contract. She had worked out this contract. She had asked me, can I have late fees? And I said, yes. We went through this whole thing and I said, you're going to have to do it for all your customers. And then I had to do the whole thing where I had to turn it off for every customer. And so she's like, okay, I'm working out this contract with this, whatever. They signed the contract, gave it to me to implement, and guess what? The late fee was 0.5%, and you can't do 0.5%. So that was, that was a thing we had to work through. So anyway, all right. So what we want for the case of Freeman Sporting Goods is a percentage of the remaining balance, but notice how, wait, hold on. What is happening here? Oh my gosh. Look, there's no save. Oh, maybe it's because I don't have an amount in. Okay, hold on. So let me go back to the exercise because you know me. I get off track and then I'm just talking too much. Let me go back here. Okay. So click the slider to turn on default charge applied to overdue invoices. Okay, here's the part that I wanted to point out. Note that at this time, the sample company will not allow you to create a late fee that is a percentage of the balance. This is a bummer because this is our scenario, is that we want Freeman to have 5%. However, we can change this in the Freeman Sporting Goods customer record. So what we have to do, just for the purposes of the sample company, is we have to say that it's a flat fee, and then we're going to go in and see how you can change it just for Freeman. Okay, so in the amount field, we're going to enter 5. Okay, so I'm going to enter 5. Once I do that, the little save button here appears. If I were in percentage, notice how the save button disappears. For some reason in the sample company, you can't do that. So we have to have the flat fee. And we're going to just say that it's 5, even though that's not correct. And then let's see, going back to my exercise. Okay. Note that QBO will automatically add a late fee product to the products and services list. Okay, so this is how it works. Right, where to go? Right here, okay, appears on invoices as late fee. So when you turn this on, QBO is going to create a product called late fee. And when somebody passes that date where the late fee has to be applied, it's now going to add this late fee as an item on their invoice. That's how it works. Okay, that's how the late fees work. This is why I said if you have somebody who they're currently 30 days late and you want to apply that late fee, QBO is not going to do it automatically. It will for future invoices after you turn it on, but it's not going to for the old ones. So if you want to do this for old ones, then after you turn this on, you have to go manually add that as a product on the invoice. Okay? All right. So we're going to click save. Let me go back to my thing. Click save and then done. Okay, so we're clicking save and then done. All right, so now that it's applied, now that we've turned it on globally, now we're going to have to go and adjust it for Freeman Sporting Goods. So step 6. Now that it's been turned on, let's change the settings for Freeman Sporting Goods. It feels like I just said that. All right, on the left nav bar, click Customers and Leads. Okay, so actually I'm already in Customers and Leads because I was showing you something else, but let's go ahead and do that anyway. Okay, this, by the way, another quick tip, right here, if I go to Customers, this is the same. This is the same list. The reason I like to do this one is because I don't have to click twice. I can just click this one and it'll go here. If I do this other one, I have to hover and then click here. It's the same. It doesn't matter. All right, but anyway, here I am on my customer list. Step 7, scroll to find, then click anywhere on the Freeman Sporting Goods row. Okay, so we're going to find Freeman Sporting Goods. Make sure my head's not in the way. Hey, how did my head get so high up there? Okay. And so here's Freeman Sporting Goods. We're not receiving payment. We're just opening right here. Okay. And then steps 8 through 11. Now we're going to click late fees. Okay. So right here is late fees. Notice it's automatically turned on. What did I say? It's always, as soon as you turn it on for account settings, it's going to turn on for everybody. So if you don't want it on for everybody, you're going to have to go into every single customer, go to late fees, and then turn it off. Okay, now we do want it on for Freeman, but maybe you want it off for everybody else. Okay, so here is, we could select use the default. That's the one that we just set up in account settings, if that's what you want, or we can customize it. And because we don't want a flat fee, we want it to be a percentage, then we are going to open that up and we're going to change it, and we're going to change it here. And look at this annoying pop-up is back up again. All right, so we're just going to click percentage of remaining balance. Oh, why didn't it save the 5? Should have saved the 5. Anyway, let's go back to the exercise. Percentage, see, this is already set at 5. I don't know why it didn't do it just now. But anyway, we're going to put in 5 again. And how often do we want it? This is the frequency. Is my head in the way? No, okay. Say once per invoice. You could do per month, or remember, Craig was like pretty serious about, he was pretty serious about Freeman, so he was like, every day that you don't pay me after the due date, it's a 5% fee. Okay, so that's what we did. We also have the option to apply an upfront fee. And then this was also in the accountant settings, but I kind of ignored it, which is this grace period. Okay, so this is the grace period that happens after, you know, should they have a grace period after that, whatever those terms are. So 30 days, and then there's like a boom extra grace period after 30 days. I'm not sure why you would want to do that, because hello, the 30 days is the grace period. But anyway, you can. And so that's what that is. Let me just go. I see your question, Karen. I'm going to answer it in just a sec. So note that since Craig is already giving Freeman 10 days to pay, and likely longer for other customers, he does not need to include an additional grace period. Okay, so we would click Save. And then what's kind of annoying is that you're not going to receive a message that it has saved like you do everywhere else in QuickBooks Online. Everywhere else it'll say, you know, that it's saved, or it will refresh or whatever. And yeah, so, but for some reason in this, I'm just going to click Save, and then nothing happens, but it is saved. All right, so let's see. Karen had a question. Why did it do that? All right, let's try it again. Add, there we go. Could you just set it up for 0, or does it have to be a positive number in setup? Then just go to the customers that you want to set up for late fees, and the others would not have a late fee. I'm not sure. Test that and let us know. I think that I may have tested that, and the answer is it can't be 0. I feel like I tested that, but I could be wrong. So maybe that's a solution. I don't know. Let us know. And then how do I close this? Oh my gosh. Why can't I? Okay, Karen's just going to be on there forever because I can't figure out how to take her comment off. Let's see. What if I move it and then I can click my little thing? Okay, there we go. Technology, guys. Technology. All right. So that is that's the part that I wanted to go over about the late fee. The next part is now that the late fee structure is set up, let's send the invoice to Freeman. And I actually think what I should do in this exercise, Joel, if you could make a note, is I should actually add those terms to his record so that it's always it's always net 10 for him. I don't, in the current version of this, which, you know, isn't public yet, but in the current version of this, I just am setting it in the invoice that we're sending. But really what I need to do is put it in his profile so that it's always. Oh, Stacy is following up to Karen's earlier question. The save button won't come up unless 1 or more. There you go. So yeah, thank you, Stacy. All right, so anyway, so Joel, let's edit this before it goes live. All right. Okay, now I think we're done with the late fees. Let me transition to, okay, so similar to the whole late fees and net 10 is what if somebody is late and you want to send them a statement of here's all of your late charges, or here's all of your outstanding invoices. And then what if you wanted to have the balance forward on sorry, I got distracted. Karen has another comment. I would just add late charge to products and services if only wanting to apply to certain clients. You could do that. Actually, let me pull that up because that is a really good point. Oops. Okay. Thanks. I won't waste my time. I would just add the late charge products and products and services if only wanting to apply to certain clients. That is and now it's obscuring my face. I've got to figure this thing out, guys. Okay, so this is a really, really good point. Here is why that may or may not be may or may not be a good idea. So here's why it's a good idea. It's a good idea because you're right. If your client has a lot of customers and only a few of them are late, you know, then yes, you could just do it on a case-by-case basis. And that would be fine. And you're right, it would save you a lot of setup time and headache and all of that. So yes, good. But here's the downside. The downside is that it doesn't happen automatically. So you would have to know, either Craig would have to tell you, or you would just have to keep a regular, keep a log or something like that, keep track of it, always check who's got overdue, whatever. The nice thing about having QBO do it is that QBO does the calculation already. So yeah, and Karen's saying she would use the AR summary, the accounts receivable summary, which is, yes, that's exactly what you would do. So yeah, so absolutely you could do that. Just the downside is that it doesn't do it automatically. You have to do it. So that's fine. It just depends on, and maybe more people are doing it that way, and that's why it's not on the tests anymore. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on to our next topic. We've only got 15 minutes left, guys. Okay, so let's move on to our next thing, which is more about the gym. So related to late fees is we can send statements for anybody who has outstanding invoices. We can tell them, okay, here's all of the invoices that you still have outstanding, or here's all, there's different types, all the transactions that you can send, and you can set it up so that you always have the balance forward on every invoice. This is so helpful. I don't know why this isn't a default. I want to know if I receive a bill from somebody, I want to know if I have another bill out there that I haven't paid for some reason. Like, I want it to say, that's how I am as a consumer, as a person. So I feel like that should be a default thing, but it's not. You actually have to add it to all of the invoices. So we're going to go over that. And this is all covered in the QBO Gym March issue. So in the March issue, and this was on my mind, not only, so what happened was we're working on the May issue of the gym, and that's late fees are in there, which is why I had that on my mind. And then Stacy, a different Stacy that's been posting in here, posted in the locker room the other day that she actually had a client and she needed to send statements, and so she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I have the gym and I learned how to do this. And so she just went back to the gym and found it and reminded herself how to send the statement. And so those two things were on my brain, and that's why we're covering this today in the live stream. All right, so what we were talking about, what Stacy had done was in the March issue of the gym in the cardio about sending statements, and then also customizing invoices to include that balance forward. So let's take a look at that. Do I already have that open? This is the preview one. Let me get rid of that. And this is the late fee plus invoice. That's the one we just did. Okay. So here we go. So here, this part of the gym is live. What the heck is that? Okay, this part of the gym is live. So you go into cardio, as I mentioned. There's always a little video that just talks about like what's happening in Craig's world, and then there's a little video, and then here are all of the exercises. And so the one we are going to do is practice sending statements to Craig's customers. And here is the scenario. Craig has several clients, and this is all covered in that little video if you're not familiar with the gym, but Craig has several clients with overdue invoices. He would like to, this actually should say customers, Joel, if you want to make that note. Typically, we use the term customers when we're referring to the people that our clients service. We use the term client when we're talking about people that we do bookkeeping for. And then the people we do bookkeeping for, they service their customers. So that's kind of QBO terminology. If you're studying for the test, it's important to get that straight. In real life, we use the terms interchangeably, but Intuit kind of wants you to keep those straight. Anyway, all right. He'd like you to send them all statements showing the balance on their account, along with aging details so they can see how long they have been overdue. Let's see how to accomplish this. Okay, so step 1, from the left nav bar, click Sales, select Sales, then click Customers. So we are already in our customers list, but we'll just do it again. Okay. And that's not what we want. This one, step 2. First, let's look at only the customers that have overdue invoices. Click the orange overdue section of the money bar. They call that this thing up here. They call this the money bar. Come on, go away. Go away. There we go. Good grief. Okay. So they call this the money bar, and it allows you to quickly see what's available. So the orange one is all the overdue invoices. Okay. And then steps 3 and 4. Check the box at the top of the column to select all customers with overdue invoices. Okay, so this box right here will select all of the ones in the list. It's currently filtered for overdue invoices. Okay, and then select click Batch Actions and select Create Statements. Okay, so I've got them selected, and now I'm going to select Batch Actions and Create Statements. Okay, there are 3 different types of statements. There is a balance forward, an open item, and a transaction statement. So I can never remember which is which. Obviously, the open item is the one that has only a list of only the things that are open. The transaction statement should have a list of everything that has ever happened for that client, but it's still confusing to me. So if it's confusing to you, what you want to do is you want to take this little quiz, and when you get the quiz, when you finish taking the quiz, it will tell you there's a little thing that actually, no, we don't have time. So when you finish the quiz, it will describe for you why the answers are the correct way, and there is a description there of what each of the different types of statements are. Okay, so just FYI. All right, so step 5. Oh, I just said this. There are 3 types of customer statements you could send. After some discussion about this with Craig, he decides that he would like them to receive a list of all their open invoices. This will show the customers the total that they owe, list which invoices have yet to be paid, and show the aging of the balances. Okay, so we're going to use the statement type dropdown to select open item, then we're going to click apply. So here I'm going to select open item, and then we're going to click apply. Okay, then step 6. Click print or preview to view the statements. Of course, in a real life scenario, you would click save and send. Okay, so here we have the statements available. There's 9 of them, and you can click print or preview, and it will put them all in a list. Oh, darn pop-ups. Okay, so here's the one for Amy. This shows that she has this invoice, which was due on this date. It's open, and that's how much was open. And if I scroll down, you can see here's Bill's Windsurf Shop. Okay, he's got this one open. Let's see if we got somebody who's got multiple. Okay, so here's one. Freeman Sporting Goods has multiple invoices that are still open. Okay. So, and then you can see this aging down at the bottom, which is helpful. You can see how long it has been past due. Okay, so that is printing the statements. Well, what if we want this balance forward, okay, What if I send Amy another invoice and I want it to show on that invoice that she has a balance due from before? Then what I have to do is customize invoices, and that is our next exercise. Okay, so if I go back to here, okay, so here we are in the gym, and the next one here is practice custom invoices. If I were actually in the gym, I don't think you'll be able to hear it, but you'll click practiced it like that, and it goes ka-ching. I don't know if you could hear that, but it goes a little ka-ching, and you get points, and people love the gamification here. In fact, somebody just posted this morning about how much they love hearing the little ka-chings. So anyway, so this next one is click here to practice custom invoices. Okay, so if you're in the gym, you get this in the March issue. If you are live right now and you're not in the gym, Joel is posting it right here in the chat. If you are watching this, the recording of this later, you can access these exercises using a free trial of the gym. Okay? All right, so that's how we access it. So let's read our scenario. So many of Craig's clients have problems with late payments. He asked you if the balance due can just be included on all invoices going forward. How can you make this happen? So there is a little problem with this statement. See if you can figure it out before we get to it. Okay, so we're going to click the gear icon and select custom form styles. First, I'm going to exit out of this statements that I'm still in. Okay, so we're going to go click here, the gear icon, and select custom form styles. Okay, step 2. Then we're going to click edit. Okay, so this is currently what the invoices look like, and you can add all sorts of things. You can change up the colors, you can add the logo, you can do all sorts of things, and this is what it looks like. Okay, oops, not that one. Step 3, click content. That's how we decide. So this first one is just the design. We've got different templates and logo you can add, fonts, all of that stuff, but what we want is the content. We want to know what appears, and you'll notice that there are 3 sections that are always on there that you can edit. Okay, oh, I keep clicking that. Okay, so so we just did that, step 3. Okay, so what we want is the middle section. This is where it's going to appear. Gosh, I guess I don't need this anymore. I can just move this out of the way so I don't keep clicking on it accidentally. All right, so we're clicking the middle section to edit. Okay, all right, now did you pick up on the problem in the scenario? Something that you have to ask Craig about? Let's see. Craig asked that the balance due be shown on all the invoices. Balance due is always shown on invoices. This is the total of the invoice. Okay, so right here, balance due, it's always on the invoice, duh. What he meant to say was balance forward. Okay, so balance forward be shown. In other words, can it display any outstanding charges? And the answer, of course, is yes. This is part of the account summary. Okay, so this you can see right here. You can add this section, which is on all of the invoices. So it'll include the balance forward, the new charges from this invoice that we're sending, and then the total due. Okay, and the way we turn that on is right here. We say we want to include the account summary. Right here, account summary, we want it to show on the invoice. Again, this seems like it should be the default. I don't know why we wouldn't always have it be the default, but it is what it is. Okay, and so we clicked show on invoice, and then we clicked done. Oh, click done. And I'm just going to let that go. And of course you could, should we do it? We have 2 minutes left. Let's do a fake invoice here. This isn't part of the exercise. So let's just say that we're creating this invoice for, don't worry if you can't keep up, I'm going fast here just so we can have some stuff to see. So here's our invoice, and I can at the bottom click print or print preview, and then you select it again, print or print preview, or print or preview. And then you can see what it actually looks like, not just the fake thing for when we were customizing, but here what it actually looks like. And that is Amy's account summary with the balance forward and the total due, not just the total for this particular invoice. All right, and oh my gosh, that's it, guys. I am so excited that we were able to get through everything. So let me just check the chat, make sure that I didn't miss any questions. I did have somebody say, this was my first live with you and I loved it. Thank you for all you do. Aw, you're welcome. I am delighted. All right. It's awesome to not, be holed up in my own little office with my little blinders on all the time. Let's see. Stacy is asking, if you join the gym now, do you have access to the older exercises? And absolutely, of course, I'm not going to take them away from you. At some point we will stop editing them because, QBO always is changing the interface, and so some of the pictures will change. And so if they get old enough, we're going to stop editing the old ones, but you will always have access to them in the same way that that first exercise that we did today, that was retired from our basic level certification course. So yeah, of course, all the hands-on exercise, all the hands-on practice you can get, hands-on. All right, so Kurt says thank you, great prezzo. I guess that's hip for presentation. Somebody says that was fun. Somebody says thank you for the time you put into this group, Margie. Oh my gosh, you're welcome. And don't forget next time. I forgot, I got distracted because there was another. Next time to give eCam permission so I can call you out by name. Joel says, I guess I missed a comment. Did it not save the 5 because you had to enter as a flat fee before? Oh, I don't know why it didn't save the 5. When I created the exercise, when I created the exercise, I was going to just put in like 1, 2, 3 to get past it and then come back. But then I noticed that it kept the 5 and the 5 was what we wanted. So I was like, oh, great. So we'll just use 5 for the exercise. But then now suddenly it didn't keep it. I don't know why. So sorry, Kathy Ace. So anyway. All right. Anybody else? Oh, we're 2 minutes overtime. That's okay. You guys have a fabulous, Kathy, you are welcome. You guys have a fabulous weekend. Enjoy your Friday. I will see you. Oh, next time. No live stream next week. I will be traveling. I'll be at a super fun conference. And so no live stream next week, but I will see you the week after. And that's it. Have a great weekend. Talk to you later. See you in the group. Don't forget to post your success stories. I love them. I love them so much. All right. Bye-bye.